we are. We're back at, this is the house, the manor house that we're staying at. We're not staying at this house, but we're staying down the street and around the corner. But we're gonna have high tea in here. How often do you get a chance to get high tea in Ireland? Apparently once every 29 years. We're going into the drawing room for high tea. I feel like we have to be so quiet. Oh my, brilliant. This is nice, nice and big. Oh, and they have a full liquor bar. Oh, nice. Look at the size of that marble mantle. That is one giant piece of stone. That is impressive. Cheers with my pinky.
Is that it?
Put your pinky out. Other pinky. Not both. Okay, let me see.
I even put a shamrock on the top of it. Just kidding.
Look at this. This is
So
their
you forgot to bring yours.
this is their meat eater one. And then here's my vegetarian one. It looks so good.
Oh.
We start at the bottom and work our way up. Jen's gonna show you how to eat a fancy open-faced BLT. Doesn't that look like the best BLT you've ever seen in your life?
I feel like I'm not really supposed to.
Let me see it.
Eat it with my hands.
Like me to take a picture of all of you together?
Oh no,
Oh,
that's okay.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Ah, the most relaxing high tea ever. Apparently they're testing the fire alarms, and it is wonderfully relaxing.
What I do is I walk you around the house. It's a little wet today. You may not want to walk in the rain so much. If I was here at the time when this house was built, I'd be the doorman or the footman, or maybe the butler if I had higher aspirations. But today I'm your tour guide. I'm also a porter, concierge. I do windows. See me with a vacuum cleaner in there, which my wife never sees me at home. But if you look above you, there are heraldic shields of the families that are associated with this house. There's one on the left-hand side of the doorway over here, and you see the horse, the winged horse. Anybody know who that is? Pegasus. Pegasus. Yes, Pegasus. And then on the other side over here we have, if you can make out what those are, they're meant to be lions. They don't look very convincing, but those are 3 lions, and you see in the middle there's a chevron, an inverted chevron upside down. There's a blue flag out there that has 15 stars in it. That's the flag of Europe. That's the EU flag. In case you didn't think we had a flag, this is I call it our Betsy Ross flag. Build a house like this, you're entitled to do just about anything you want to do. And the person that owned this house actually had her pet dog memorialized on this side of the house. It took 30 years to build it. It is built from the river to the gardens. It's a very long house. The hall, the great hall that's above us, it's called the gallery. And that is 132 feet in length. Remember, as you look around you, everything here is made by hand. All of these little marks on the stone that you see are chisel marks. This is in the height of the industrial age, and these people had this house and the village and everything around you created during the height of the Industrial Revolution. Now, I told you a little bit about I just pointed out the crests. The crest over here, the Pegasus, the winged horse on that crest, is the representative shield, the heraldic shield of a local Irish native Gaelic family. Their last name was Quinn, Q-U-I-N. It's also spelled Q-U-I-N-N. The crest on the other side is quite the opposite. It's an English crest, although some people might argue that it's Welsh. It's not, in fact, it's English. It's the Wyndham, W-Y-N-D-H-A-M. So you have the Wyndhams and the Quinns.
The original door.
Entryway. You notice that when you came to Adare Manor, when you were driving up the driveway, there's no front door in the house. This is the front door, but it's not at the front of the house as you might think. So really what I'm trying to tell you is, this actually is the front door, and the imposing side of the house that you see really is the side of the house that faces to the south. But I just want to point out some of the stonework here. The stonework here is all black marble. This beautiful dark grey black marble is from County Galway, and it's all handcrafted. None of it is machine made, nor is it machine polished. This is all hand polished marble, which is incredibly difficult and incredibly labour intensive. The roof is original. And in the boutique, which is our gift shop there, later on, if you come back to look in the boutique, feel free to go in there. They'd like you to come in there. In fact, I'm sure they will. But there's a magnificent window in that room with a very, very elaborate tree trunk carved right into the roof, symbolizing the tree of life. The latest part of the manor, the latest to be built, and it was built in the 1850s, and it was deliberately intended to look like a church or cathedral. And that's because it represents the newer style in the 1850s, the Neo-Gothic style. And in fact, when we go into the drawing room right next door to us here, you'll also see that style again. The wooden bridge in Limerick, he actually had the support timbers of this are 500 years old. He had the timbers brought here, resawn and incorporated into the design. So just something useful to do with the timbers. There's beautiful carvings. This carving is by, again, craftsmen from the local village who worked in the house for a period of 30 years. And when the Dunravens eventually got their title, they adopted the bird, the raven, as one of their motifs, if you like. So the Dunraven family is symbolized by the raven. Although, when I tell you in a few minutes, ravens have nothing to do with the Dunraven name. It gets a little bit more curious.
Jeez Louise.
If you want to have a seat, please feel free. I'll bring some more chairs down here too. If you want to relax on a chair for a few minutes.
Are these chairs? It's very impressive.
Downstairs. This is the gallery where the family portraits would have been. So this is where we talk about the family.
So intricate.
All around you in this house, you see heraldry, you see symbols of this family. Well, who were they? And why did they come here? And why did they take this spot to build this enormous house? Part of the hotel. So the wing that you're looking at out there is only 25 years old, and it's joined onto this park from 1832. So the clock tower here, you've heard of Big Ben in England. Big Ben does not refer to the clock. Big Ben refers to the bell. Do you remember that? That bell was founded on the same boundary as Big Ben. They're gone. They're traveling all over Europe. And what do you do when you travel? You shop, don't you? You might do some shopping. Well, they did a little bit of shopping. You bring home souvenirs. You bring home postcards. You might bring home a sweater or a nice piece of crystal. They brought home this. This choir stall came from Antwerp Cathedral. Not that one. This one. That is a copy by a local artist and craftsman made of this one, which is 400 years old. If this is 400 years old, the door is even older. The central panels of the door, this is 600 years old. Her husband, Wyndham Henry, decided to renovate two medieval buildings. One of them was turned into the local Catholic Church, and the other one is the local Church of Ireland, which is directly across from the entrance. When you drive out eventually out through our gates, look across the road. If you go in there, it's well worth going in and looking at the church if it's open. Sometimes it's open, but even if you just go and look at the outside, it's a 15th century building.
It's across from the
Directly across. That's the building you're looking at. Right. So they rebuilt this. She being Caroline Dunraven, Caroline Wyndham Quinn, Lady Dunraven, became the Sunday school teacher out there. Now, if you look at the outside of our building here, and in fact we'll be able to do that in a few minutes, you'll see the very top of the building has an inscription. And it says, unless the Lord build the house, their labour is but lost that built it. Psalm 121. Deadly sins starts with an interesting panel here. For members above the age of 18, you can figure it out yourself. It goes down and it goes all the way through Very popular theme in the Middle Ages. Geoffrey Chaucer wrote about the 7 deadly sins. Dante in his Inferno wrote about, this one particularly, the 7 deadly sins. It's a theme that carries through. Now,
These are amazing.
so this is simply the river that drains the plain. Later there. Now,
That's crazy.
you can actually lean over. Now we're standing on the roof of the old house, part of the older house over here. When we go downstairs, and I mention it now, have a look out here, we're going to go into this room underneath us. This was the private chamber of Lady Caroline.
Merman, Dad. Merman. Huh. This is their fancy oak room.
Right
I guess
there
it's
in front
called
of you.
oak because it's an oak fireplace.
His favorite restaurant because he is a guest here frequently. Other famous people that we've had here, as I've mentioned, aside from Catherine Zeta-Jones and Michael Douglas, Robert De Niro, Cameron Diaz, and the Hollywood A-list, yes, Brangelina, yes, all of, yes, you can say yes to just about any names like that. But I've just turned on the lights and beautiful chandeliers here. This is a beautiful room. The oak paneling is all original. So we may not have the original furniture, but we have the furnishings. We have the wall furnishings. We have the original ceiling is still here. So, you know, you're looking at the house as it was without the furniture. And remember, this was a dining room of this size was created purely for the reason that when you have a large manor house, you're entertaining a lot of important guests. Stone. This has a nice warm feeling because of the colours of the stone. This was the sun porch. When it became a hotel in 1987, the Canes had the glazing installed and it became part of our fine dining restaurant. So it's a lovely place to have dinner or indeed to have breakfast. In the evening time, it's all candlelit, it's very romantic. And the view there, you can't get any better than that. You have a beautiful cedar of Lebanon tree just outside the window here. This enormous canopy of the cedar of Lebanon. It's the oldest cedar of Lebanon and the largest in Britain or Ireland. It dates from 1645. And there's a sign down there that will tell you that too, so you can check on me. The trees across the way over behind the lake over there, those very deep, beautiful, burgundy coloured trees, those are copper beeches.
Look, it's Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. They stayed here when he was president. That's pretty impressive, right? He said we're going into the presidential room. Yeah, not our president, Ireland's president. She stays in this room when she stays here.
Yeah.
We're in a fancy place.
What's your name?
I don't know. What's your name? They're leading us down a very long, narrow hallway. Huh. Oh no, somebody broke it. Wow.
We're just going to assemble
Private?
here.
Oh. They like mermaids.
Alright. We'll go right over to the bay window.
Oh.
Straight across into the bay window, if you will.
It's very quiet in here. It's fancy. Hidden knobs.
We'll just go right across to the far side of the bay window so I can talk to you. Like that.
Wow, we want.
On a nightly basis, and it costs more than I make in 2 months, so there you have it. When we have weddings here, more often than not, this is part of the wedding suite. This is where the bride spends the night before. And the reason for that is because the bedroom next to it is quite small. This is the private suite of Lady Caroline, second Countess of Dunraven. And the bedroom down here is quite small. When President Clinton was a guest here, the only way that he could have stayed in this bedroom were if those trees across the way were removed, because the men in black who came with him insisted that they needed to have a clear view of everything. So Mr. Kane, who is a Republican, had a problem on his hands. He didn't. He said, "I'm not going to sacrifice my trees or my golf course for Mr. Clinton. And so that's what happened. I have to tell you that he was a very popular man in this country because he did a lot for us as far as the peace process. In spite of what my boss's politics are, we are eternally grateful to Mr. Clinton because he managed to provide the right situation for peace to occur in Northern Ireland. So for that we'll be eternally grateful. But Mrs. Clinton, when she stayed here, did not stay in the same part of the house with Mr. Clinton. And for younger listeners in the audience, I would just say this much: if you remember the year 1998. Mrs. Clinton went on tour on her own with a friend of mine who is, like myself, a national guide. And his job was to take her away for the week with Men in Black and visit County Clare across the river. And that's exactly what she did. She went shopping. Apparently they were vacationing back in Arkansas, where they're from, and they went to a particular gas station, and the gas station owner happened to be Mrs. Clinton's old boyfriend. And so when they drove away from the gas station, Mr. Clinton is reported to have said, "See, honey, if you'd stay here, you'd be the wife of the gas station owner." And she turned to him and she said, "No, Bill, if I stayed here, he'd be the president of the United States."
Jen, he said that on the day before your wedding night, you're supposed to stay here.
Yeah.
Did you?
No, I didn't.
Boo. Oh, it's like a little parlor. Ooh, fancy. Oh, there's the bathroom.
Oh, she had a fancy bathroom.
I know, I just want to see it. Wow. That was the ladies' room, like the lady of the house's room. Now we're going to show you where this is where he lived, was in this room. In the gift shop. Oh, it's very nice. It's very small too, compared to hers. Hello, and there was his bathroom. There's a lady who qualified to be an architect, and she couldn't get a job as an architect because the economy is so bad, so she decided to start designing and selling hats.
I love this.
And this is her hat. Even though it looks like a headband, here she is. Why don't we have stuff like that? We need it. My mom's really embracing the Irish heritage. We went to the grocery store again so that we could buy like 50 bottles of whiskey. And it was pouring down rain, and now it's sunshiny and wet. Oh, we came down to the other grocery store. Look at this. This is where they got our cake from our day before wedding reception. And this is awesome. It looks so good. I showed everybody already. They love it. They left it in the comments already, saying that they love it.
I think this is so cool. It's my fascinator.
It's called a fascinator? It's pretty fascinating. We stopped back by for one last trip to the pub here before, because we have to leave tomorrow morning. And look, they gave us an actual hard plate, and all they asked us to do was just bring it back tomorrow. They said we didn't have to, but if we were nice, we would. You would never see that in America. No. Ever. Not even if it was like a neighborhood bar or restaurant. No, wouldn't happen. You'd get styrofoam. It's terrible. Let's move here. Boo for packing. We don't want to go home.
No.
Look at all of our packed stuff. Jen still hasn't even packed that suitcase yet. That's your carry-on though, so that's okay.
Got all this to go in there.
I know. That's a lot of stuff. Oh. I think I'm like 99% done. There's mine. Over yonder. Look at all that space I have left. Well, dang. We're almost done packing. I guess that means that it's time to go home. You guys want to see something really funny? What time is it right now? 10:33 at night? Look, the sun's still up outside. That's ridiculous, right? I'll see you guys tomorrow. and now it's time to pay the price. Tomorrow is going to be a long day. Airplane ride, airplane ride, airplane ride.